to Well Drafted, an architecture and design podcast. Creative, crazy, and curious. Hi, I'm Shrina, an aspiring architect, and this show is here for us to connect. I'm your host for the show. Come join me as I take you through an array of architecture and design discussions. Hello everyone. Today we have Vishwa with us, Vishwa Shah, who is currently an architect and is working under a studio named Pracademics in Ahmedabad. Along with that, he is also running his own practice under the name of Cables Architects, where he majorly focuses on residential architectural projects. He's a one-man show. He's working under a company and running his own company. So hi, welcome Vishwa.
Hello Shrina.
How are you?
I am feeling great.
Are you feeling great about talking about today's topic?
Yes. I was actually excited to talk about this. Because when you sent me that you had this idea and then we exchanged our views on this topic, so I was actually thinking about what we will talk about and how it will be and everything. So,
and this is something I think both of us are experts in, right?
Yes.
Things we wish we knew before joining
yeah, it is very true.
So let's just start. So what do you think are a few things? Let's start with actually skills, because there is so much we can know before starting architecture school. What do you think were some skills you wish you developed before joining architecture school, design school?
So about the skills, I don't really think that anything is really necessary, because when you enter an architectural school, basically you are going in and then after there are different types of activities and different types of exercises which are meant to develop your skill in that direction. So I think a right mindset can be, with a right mindset one can approach an architectural school, but necessarily I don't think that it is very relevant to develop certain type of skills, because there are many this type of studios and many types of external agencies which promote certain skills that you should have before you enter an architectural school. But I don't think that it is always a scenario like that. Like in many ways, it is over exaggerated. Like you should know how to sketch, you should know how to do watercolors and do this type of perspectives and everything. Of course you need a basic knowledge in these things, but it should not be hyped as much as it is done in the market, because a bad sketcher can also be a good architect actually. And we have studied so many. We have studied so many. I have witnessed many people like that. Like the skills which are promoted highly in architecture are, it is not necessarily
become a good architect.
It is not necessary that a person holds this type of skill set, then only it is mandatory for him to to gain success in this. Actually, many times I have observed that many people who are thinking that they are strong in this particular skill set, like in sketching and everything, they think that it is meant for them to be an architect. But it is not the scenario. When they get to know the real scenario, like what are the responsibility of architects and what is coming with it, then after they realize, yes, I am good in this, but this is not something that I can pursue forward. It is a
then that skill becomes their business actually,
yes,
right?
Then that skill becomes their business. I have seen many people in different colleges whom they have started their own different business or a different art form they have started, which is not related to architecture, but
they discovered that skill when they were doing architecture.
When they were doing architecture, and maybe they had joined architecture thinking that I am maybe good in this skill, so I will survive in it. Because in our family also, like you will see in many cases, like they will say, oh, you are good in sketching, you can join architecture, you can join this fashion designing, you are good in this sketching field, and you are good with watercolors, you can join this field, that field.
That's not true.
That's not
this true. Is so well put. So I think mindset that you have to be ready for what's coming your way.
What's coming our way. So a better skill would be communication, I think. to communicate with the present architects who are in the field, who are running
Yeah.
certain projects. You don't have to necessarily talk about much practicality and everything, but you can just ask them
Know
like
about the field.
what type of field it is, what it is about.
Yeah.
Like you can communication is a great
Very
skill.
important
Yeah,
skill,
very
yeah.
important.
I think I will agree with you on that. That maybe this notion, set notion, you sketch so well, you paint so well, but those are some necessary presentation skills.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
make you a great artist.
Yeah, that
Right?
doesn't make
It's
you
a very,
good.
I think it's important for people to realize it's an art and science based field and not an art based
Yeah,
field.
not an art based field.
So now let's take it to the funny part. Why don't you tell us some mistakes that, like, let's both of us tell everyone some mistakes that, we have made as first, second, third year students, when we were so innocent, when we didn't realize, which further on you went on and realized that, oh my God, no. People kept reminding us of this, but it became so important. So tell us about some of your mistakes that taught you great lessons.
About the mistakes, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tricky one.
Should I start if you want some time to think about your best mistake?
Yeah, there are so many that I can't think of one.
Yeah.
It is full of mistakes.
Oh my God.
My full academics is full of mistakes and full of mishaps and everything. Like in the till the thesis part itself, like not in the first, second year, till the thesis part I have made a lot of mistakes, and I know that. Like in first year there are no mistakes. Like everything is just experimental, and it is just trial and error. Even if you do terrible projects, they will anyway pass you, because everyone knows that this is just like in my first year only, I had done a studio project in which I had given a plan in which literally there were 7 shapes in the plan, like triangle, circle, octagon, this, that. So basically
it was a learning curve.
Yeah, it was a learning curve. So basically I think the mistakes can be like when you go into this academics and then you start off, like you do many distorted things, like you do this type of building, you do that type of building, but then slowly and gradually, like the faculty shape you into a more pragmatic manner. The same thing, if you want to practice like a parametric building, they will allow you to, but in a more pragmatic way and in a more resolved way. So I think majorly all the mistakes are of that manner.
Right. I think my funny and best mistake, I will say, is being absent and bunking classes. Because it was much later I realized that, only by just being present in discussions with your classmates, your faculties, your seniors, you are learning so much by just, as you said, communicating, which is such an important skill. So I think, you know what, I know it's so much fun to miss classes in college, but I still think in at least design school, architecture school, you can have so much fun by being present in your classes.
Yeah, it is very true. It is very true. Because these are not theoretical classes. These are practical classes. So actually you are interacting with your friends and everybody, and then you are carrying forward your design. So it is rather fun to be in the class rather than to be out of the class. So it is an experience for us many times.
Being present. Because as an act, even in profession, you have to be present. Mentally, emotionally, physically, on the site. So, I've been thinking a lot in the past few months that, I really wish I was more connected to reading books when I was a student, because in my thesis semester, I realized that so many answers that I was seeking for were in the books, and our seniors and teachers kept telling us, okay, read books, go to the library, but we were a couple of monkeys, so we didn't never go to the library.
No.
But that's my bit. What do you think you wish you did more in architecture school as a student?
So actually,
it's an advice.
So about advice, I would say that many times, like you were saying about reading books and everything, I don't think that I have referred to enough exposure in the architectural school itself. Like there were many instances that I thought that maybe if I had referred to more architectural background books, like more philosophical books, more design books, like into what I was interested into, so it would have been a better thing to do. Because in our generation, like many of us are not into so much into reading books and everything. Like in the like maybe I am guessing, like the previous generations, when the phone was not so active, maybe they used to go into the libraries and they used to read and they used to refer. But I was not so much active in reading books and
Yeah.
everything, so I wish that I had read much amount of books,
Yeah.
so that there is a so it creates a good impact on you,
Sensitivity.
and you gain a certain sensitivity by doing this. So I think one should read books like in architecture.
Can you tell us a funny mistake that happened to you in architecture school? Something that you laugh about now, and it was something very innocent. You didn't realize. कि, okay, ऐसा भी हो सकता है.
Yeah, so actually it is so stupid, and it is so stupid that I am doing, like I had done that type of thing. Actually, it is about the fourth semester only. So actually I was designing a design in which the vaults were involved.
Okay.
So there is a typical example of Sangat which is there.
Okay,
for
by
the
B.V.
vault,
Doshi.
by B.V. Doshi, which is in Ahmedabad itself. Everybody knows Sangat stood. So I was taking the reference of that building, and I was building a school which had the structure of a vault. So
Okay.
basically the idea was dispersed. So basically I was developing the idea, but when it came to the final stages, I didn't even realize, and the jury happened, and in the jury the juror pointed out that your design is looking like Sangat.
Oh God.
And I turned back, I looked at my own sheets, I looked at my own design, and I was there wondering with the juror, like, oh shit, it's so true. And I was just, he can see it on my face that I am agreeing with him.
So
And
you
it
were
was-
too inspired by your inspiration.
Yeah. I was too inspired by my inspiration, and I was too blind to notice that this was going in that direction. Eventually, it was a scattered plan, but as it got more organized and more in a sophisticated manner, I didn't even realize, and that type of thing happened. Nobody would believe me if I told that I wasn't doing a replica of that, but it was actually an innocent mistake, and I didn't intend it to do it, but it happened anyway.
Okay.
So it was that type of thing.
That's nice. Now let's take it and tell us one larger learning for someone who is just about to start their journey in architecture school. What would you tell a student who is just joining architecture school? We talked about mindset and inspiration.
Yeah. You should treat your faculties with a certain respect.
Yeah.
Even though you might think that they are wrong and everything, it is not a practical way to approach and everything. But every time a faculty tells a person every time a faculty teaches you something, then you should try to understand it and look at it and approach it in a practical manner.
Yeah.
Like even if you think that it is not practical enough, you should approach it with a certain patience and with a certain respect to the faculty, because it is not just about the faculty. So obviously they have gained this much experience and everything, and they deserve that type of respect, but many times it is not in your best interest to approach a faculty in a disrespectful manner. It can create certain problems for you which you are not hoping to see.
That's so true.
Yeah. So always you should search for a more peaceful and practical approach, rather than being just an rebellious and erratic type of behavior, like just denying the faculty on the face and being a rebellious personality. You should not do that, because it is it is attractive it is tempting in certain phases, like to do that type of thing, but it is not always the great choice.
And we promise, both of us, we were rebellious in certain cases. But you know what, if you look back and think, they are wishing the best for you, and they have experienced as much or more you can think, and they know what they are telling you is most of the times right for you. I think for me it would be is to surround, like for someone joining architecture school, surround yourself with people who are as motivated as you
Yeah,
and people who are passionate about this subject as much as you, because that's the only thing that takes you forward and keeps you pushing. Otherwise, I think you can go down a different lane if you go the other way. So that's about it. Well drafted, Vishwa, you'd say.
Yeah.
Good,
Sure.
well drafted.
Well drafted.
So thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you for including me in this.
Hopefully we'll have another conversation next time.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Bye, Vishwa.
Bye, Shrina.